Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making pasta sauce. So we are going to start off making this pasta sauce off with, we're going to start cutting up some onion. We're going to use about 3 large sized onions. And I am going to chop them, and it's not going to be pretty because, to be honest, it doesn't matter. I'm going to throw them in a big pan, they're going to get roasted, and then by the end of this, they're going in the food processor. So the only purpose for chopping is just to help it roast and be really, just get a nice deep roast on it. And that works better when it's chopped. So not super particular on that today. Also, I have 0 knife cutting skills, so if you are looking for that, this is the wrong channel. I almost cut my finger off one time. True story. My husband came, I screamed for him, he was in the workshop, he came running in, and there was blood everywhere. I was not allowed to play with knives for a while. And by play with, I mean use. I love this pasta sauce though, guys. It is such a good universal sauce. You can use it for spaghetti, you can use it for pizza, you can use it for lasagna, you can use it for Alfredo, or anything. And what's nice is this gives you a really nice base, and when you go in to cook a particular meal, just add some specific seasonings. Like tonight we made spaghetti, and we did spaghetti with meatballs, and so I ended up cooking the meatballs in with my pasta sauce, and I just added some Italian seasoning, oregano, things like that, and it goes perfectly together. So I highly recommend that. So once all the onions are cut up, you are going to want to start cutting up your bell peppers. So for this recipe, if you like a super sweet sauce, go for 3 bell peppers. That's what I did tonight. My kids prefer it sweet. However, if you like more of just a normal sweetness, I would go for 1.5. And I think that would be plenty sweet for me, but again, it's all based off taste. And that's what's really nice about this, is that there is no added sugar. This is it. This is the sweetness that gets added in, and man, does it work. So you do want to take the seeds out of the middle before you chop it up. You don't really want a whole bunch of seeds getting into your sauce. That wouldn't be very tasty. But again, I'm just doing some loose chops. Doesn't need to be anything fancy because it's all just going to get roasted. Then once we're done chopping up these bell peppers, we are going to move on to the tomatoes, and we are just going to cut them in half. You don't need any fancy tomatoes for this. Any tomatoes will do. I use the ones from my backyard garden. You can get them from the grocery store or anywhere really. Although I will say it is tomato season, and if you can buy local, go to your farmer's market and buy local. Support our local farmers. Support your local homesteaders. This is what they do for a living. I guarantee you it's going to be 1,000,000 times better than what you can get from the grocery store. But of course, if you grow them at home, that's where you start. If you have enough, pull them out and cook them at home. Honestly, I have tomatoes coming out of my eyeballs right now, and you probably do too if you have a garden. And I love it. It's just, garden season's my favorite season, guys. It makes me so happy. So once I have all of the tomatoes cut in half, then I'm going to de-seed them. I don't have a fancy or nice way of doing it. There might be one out there that I don't know. This is how I do it. I take a spoon and I just start scooping it out. And, whatever I can't get with the spoon, I just try and get with my hands. I'm not a fancy cooker. I go for efficiency. And this just seems fairly efficient, maybe. And so I have all these different types of tomatoes that I'm using. Couldn't tell you what they're called. One of them's a purple something. Don't know what the other ones are. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. Just pull them all out, And if you got them, use them. That's my motto, right? So I'm gonna finish just de-seeding these, and then I'll get back to you about what's next. Oh, and before I forget, make sure you're de-seeding these into a bowl. That's very important. You do not want to de-seed them into a trash can or the sink, because we are going to be doing something with those seeds in just a few minutes. So, just fair warning. All right, we have now de-seeded everything, and now we're going to go in and just give again a rough chop to these tomatoes. And you'll already know what I'm going to say. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be pretty. Why? It's all going into the food blender anyways. So just give them a nice little chop. And you know that the seeds and the guts, I like to call the tomatoes, I told you not to get rid of. Okay, so here's why. You're going to throw them all in a strainer, and then you're going to put another bowl underneath it, and we are going to strain all of that juice out. That juice is liquid gold. It's tasty, it's good for you, full of vitamins and nutritions, and we do not want to put that to waste. So we are going to just strain as much of it out as we can possibly can. Shake it around, use a spoon. It speeds the process up, and it really will make a difference with your sauce. All right, and this is what we've got so far. I am loving all of the red in this. So I peeled apart 2 bulbs of garlic. I didn't even bother chopping them up. I am just throwing them in there. If you'd like to chop them up, have at it. Didn't seem really important to me. I grow basil, and so I just went out and just grabbed a handful of basil, and I'm just picking the leaves off and just putting them around. I don't have a specific amount. If you love basil, add more. If you're not a huge fan of basil, add less. But it does bring out a really good flavor in your tomato sauce. Next, we want to add black pepper. So I like to use fresh and just grind it myself with the black pepper. It's fresher that way. It's really good. That's not a requirement. If you just want to use your normal salt and pepper shaker, that's totally fine too. I choose not to add my salt right now. I like to wait until I start blending it up. That's just a preference choice. If this is, if you want to go ahead and add your salt, then have at it. That's awesome. After we do the black pepper, now you're going to want to put in 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. And that's really going to make the flavors just come together. On top of that, you also want to go ahead and pour in your tomato juice that we just got done straining. Those two flavors together will really just make this dish pop. Oh my goodness, I am such a sucker for beautifully colored dishes, and that is exactly what this is. It's gorgeous. It doesn't get much prettier than this. And it's so healthy for you. How awesome. So now that we are done prepping everything, we're going to get our hands dirty and we are just going to start mixing it all together. You really just want to blend it all as well as you can. Mix it all in there together really well. Just get those flavors, blended and mixed together. So that way when they roast, they'll roast so well. And now it's ready to be put into the oven. So we've already preheated our oven to 450 degrees. So now we're just going to plop it on in, and it's going to go in between an hour to an hour and 20 minutes, just based on your preference. And voila, it's done. This looks so good. I'm so excited. Now, all that's left to do is to put it in the food processor. I have a KitchenAid food processor. I'm sure if you don't have that, then a blender would do. So I'm just going to put it all in there, and then we're going to turn it on, and I like to make it just go until it's pretty much smooth. Once you've put in all of your fruit and veggies, now you want to pour all that juice in there. It's really going to just make it so delicious. You might have more than me. If you do, I would just stop it right at the tops, just so that way everything's just submerged. You don't want to do more than that, otherwise you can make it too liquidy. I didn't have that problem today. Quite a bit of mine had already been cooked out in the oven, so I just went ahead and poured it all in there. Now I'm just going to turn this thing on and let it go. And I started it on slow. Really, you can just crank on high and you can just let it go for just a few minutes, depending on your blender. I stopped halfway through just to kind of check it out and see how it was doing. I do like to leave just a little bit of texture in mine. I don't like it to be so flattened down. It's like juice. But again, a preference. I'm so messy, y'all. And so it is impossible for me to cook without making some sort of mess. It's fine. It's all fine. Just wipe it up and move on. And so once we get it all nice and blended, then we can take it out and get ready for it to can. And now it's ready to be canned. So this recipe will make about 2 large mason jars full of sauce. So for us, that's about 2 meals worth. If you want more, double your recipe. But man, that looks great. Okay, so does it pass the Maddie test? Does she approve? The answer is yes. We had this for dinner tonight and she just gobbled it all up. It is. It's so good. It's kid friendly. And we did. We loved it. Thank you so much for listening to my channel today, guys. Please like and subscribe for more videos in the future. Have a great week. Stay blessed. Bye, guys.